Trump continues to haunt Putin, and Georgia has gone against Russia. In Georgia, a tanker that had switched its Russian flag to a Panamanian one was detained. The Georgian Coast Guard detained a tanker named Caminero sailing under the Panamanian flag off the coast of the Black Sea. According to the Marine Traffic Service, the vessel was heading to Romania from the Georgian Black Sea port of Kulevi, where a processing plant was recently opened for oil, including raw materials from the Russian Federation. It is interesting to note here that according to the Vessel Finder Traffic Service, the Caminero sailed under the flag of the aggressor country, Russia, for 5 years and changed it in 2022. But hiding didn't work, and this tanker was detained. It's also interesting to add that Trump isn't slowing down. He decided to put more pressure on Putin. This is reported by The Telegraph. And here's what they say. Trump made the decision to seize Russian tankers after Putin wore him out. U.S. President Donald Trump made the decision to seize Russian tankers from the so-called oil fleet and also approved the advancement of a bill for devastating sanctions. After more and more, Vladimir Putin dragged things out, and Trump began to see him as the main obstacle to ending the war in Ukraine. This was reported by Telegraph, citing informed sources. According to the publication's interlocutors, such steps by the White House are a signal to Moscow that the time to find a peaceful solution is running out, since the Trump administration believes that Putin is deliberately dragging out the negotiation process. Moreover, one of the sources close to Trump's inner circle described his approach as a carrot and stick, noting that essentially the carrot has run out. Another source emphasized that Russia's 2 steps forward, 1 step back tactic is becoming increasingly exhausting for the head of state. And it should be added here that things will only get worse for Russia from now on. Even Kremlin-affiliated public channels are now calling on Putin to respond with force to the seizure of tankers. The U.S. continues to brazenly seize Russian oil tankers, the public channels write. At the same time, there has been no convincing response from the authorities of the Russian Federation, apart from statements. Have they really noticed something? A source in the security agencies notes that a number of influential figures have approached President Putin with a proposal to respond more harshly to the situation. However, Putin did not give a clear answer. And now, one of the interlocutors says the following. This looks strange. However, many people want an answer as to why we are still just watching as the Americans seize our tankers. Isn't it time to respond for real? Well, but as we can see, Putin is afraid of Donald Trump. Meanwhile, Trump held a meeting with the heads of American oil and gas companies regarding their entry into the Venezuelan market, which the United States has now taken under its control. What did Trump say at this meeting? Here is a quote. I said, China and Russia, we get along with you very well. We like you a lot, but we don't want you to be there, meaning in Venezuela. You won't be there. At the same time, we are open to doing business with them. China can buy oil from us either there in Venezuela or in the United States. Russia can get as much oil from us as it needs. Regarding the seized tanker Bela 1, which was later renamed Mariner, Trump said the following. Russia tried to get in there into Venezuela. There was a ship, half Russian, that's what I would call it, and we seized it. Russia decided not to defend it. That's a big move. We don't want Russia and China to go into Greenland. If we don't take Greenland, Russia or China will become our neighbors. That won't happen, says Donald Trump. There are Russian Yasins there are Chinese Yasins, and they're even bigger. There are Russian submarines there. We will not allow Russia or China to occupy Greenland, and they will do it if we don't. After you captured Nicolas Maduro, Volodymyr Zelensky said, if that's how it works with dictators, you know what to do. Sounds like he wants you to go and capture Vladimir Putin. Would you ever go on such a mission? Journalists asked Donald Trump. And here's what he replied. I don't think that will be necessary. I've always had a good relationship with him. He means with Putin. I'm very disappointed. I stopped 8 wars. Last month, they lost 31,000 people, and many of them were Russians. And the Russian economy is showing poor results. I think we'll resolve this through a settlement, Trump said. Well, and here we should recall everything that happened around the Mariner tanker, which was seized by the U.S. on January 7, 2026. The Americans seized it. The Mariner tanker, previously named Bela 1, was seized for violating sanctions. Information emerged that there were Ukrainians on board that vessel. In connection with this, the Embassy of Ukraine in the US contacted the US State Department. And here is the information we have from the ambassador of Ukraine to the US, Olha Stefanishina. She says the following. There are 17 crew members with Ukrainian citizenship on board the Mariner tanker detained by the US. And here is what the representative of the Ukrainian Volunteer Army, Serhiy Brechuk, had to say. According to our information, these are Ukrainian citizens originally from Crimea. You see, when this situation happened, they remembered that they are Ukrainians. Well, there has been a lot of discussion about all of this, but it should be added that many have pointed out that these same crew members may hold both Ukrainian and Russian citizenship. But when this situation occurred, when they were captured, they remembered that they are Ukrainians. And these are the scenes you see before you now, the capture of yet another tanker. The US seized the oil tanker Olina in coordination with the interim government of Venezuela. This was announced by the US president himself, Donald Trump. Next, I quote. Today, the United States of America, in coordination with the interim government of Venezuela, intercepted an oil tanker that had left Venezuela without our permission. The head of the White House added that the vessel is currently on its way back to Venezuela, and the oil, it will be sold as part of the great energy deal that we created for such sales, says Trump. Well, as of now, the United States of America has already seized 5 tankers from the shadow fleet of the Russian Federation. Putin is silent, afraid to respond. Z publics are condemning Putin. And at this time, we are observing the situation with you. So that was the information as of now. My name is Anastasiia Husarieva. See you in the next broadcast. Take care of yourselves and wash your hands with your loved one.